What's up, guys? So I've been thinking and wondering about this. This has been a great, long-lasting story, movie series franchise that is MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe, and a lot of people have their own opinions, thoughts, and reaction regarding the current state of MCU. MCU right now, and they're in the midst of Phase 4. There are 5 Disney Plus series, 5 future films released so far. The latest one is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And what's the feeling of it? What's the direction of MCU moving forward as we've seen from all the TV series and movies? There are a lot of things to come up with. Some fans, they love the franchise, they love all the movies and series, so characters, so that's why they continue to support and follow the story. On the other hand, some people's like, oh, it's getting too much, it's getting ridiculous, it's not the same, so they jump off the ship. And I come up with this 4 things that for me it describes the current state of MCU. First one is MCU still good or are people getting tired of it? It's both ways. I think both's true. Marvel movies are always great. They're always great. They hold the upper echelon hand of any other series in cinematic history. They have the more dominant force of all. They have the popularity and the great history to back it up. And they are more superior compared to DC movies. They're more dominant over anything. And it's easy to follow the story, easy to understand, easy to join. So that's a good part of it. On the other hand, people are starting getting tired of it, and actually that's true. I also had the feelings like, oh, once we enter phase 4, it's like, oh, it's not the same. It's not gonna be great as the first 3 phases, and that's true. And that's why people are like, oh, it's getting tired of it. I saw some of the reactions like, oh, it's getting too much. Why they pick up the story from there? It's like, oh, it's not good. It's like it's not the same. I get that part. And that's why my first point translates to the next point. Number 2, the adjustment phase. Right now, MCU feel like they're in an adjustment phase. As phase 4 is happening right now, how are you going to pick up the story from the previous one? Or how do you introduce a new character or introduce a new narrative? How do you construct these little things into another next big thing? I love the fact that they release the story or in ways in TV series way, like in Disney Plus way. I thought that was a prudent, smart way for Disney and Marvel Studios to do it, to distribute in that kind of platform. I thought it was a good idea because if they done it in like movies, I think that would have been too much of an odious. So right now, MCU, they're in adjustment phase because how do you gonna top the first 3 phases? I don't think it's gonna top the first 3 phases of anything. No way. But they're gonna make it interesting. They're gonna keep it making it interesting. They're gonna keep you sucker in. That's what they're doing. The third thing is mistakes so far in phase 4. I don't see a lot of mistakes. I think it's been pretty good. Better than I expected of. Although there are a few things that I see as a mistake or I didn't quite like it, and other people might see more mistakes in the current phase right now. First one is Eternals. When I saw Eternals, I felt underwhelmed. How those new characters gonna be part of the one big thing? Because so during the first 3 phases, all this time they were like the shadowy figures. They're like the people behind the scenes. So I don't know how those characters are gonna translate and connect it to the next big thing. So that's the part I didn't quite understand. And the fact that there were not a lot of subplots in that movie that connected to like, past MCU. So that's the part I didn't get it. Is like it's almost like that's like wait and see. So I'm kinda like wondering how Eternal's gonna be part of the big thing. So that's a wait and see. And another thing it's not a mistake, but I would have done this way compared to the way it released. It's Black Widow. I know that movie's a phase 4 movie, but that should have been a phase 3 movie. If that was a phase 3 movie, that would have been so gigantic and finds out what's about Natasha Romanoff during the midst of phase 3. That would have been much more fun. Instead of like releasing phase 4, like, she died. You almost like you throw that in there just to like honor her legacy. I mean, that's about it. I would have changed if they have released Black Widow in phase 3. I would definitely tweak the post credit scene, especially the second one, and I would add a post credit scene in Avengers Endgame, like from the second post credit scene on Black Widow, and put that in Avengers Endgame. That would have been so like I would like kind of thrilling, crazy, open the Pandora or box type way to kind of introduce into new phases. That's how I would have done that. The last thing is, what do you miss after Phase 3, after Endgame? Definitely the original Avengers characters. Those are the characters you start watching. You start to grow up watching it, following the story, and seeing it from there. Those are the characters you miss the most. And of course, I miss the epic story journey from Phase 1 to 3. Phase 4 right now, I don't know how the story's gonna lead up to. It's not gonna top those first three phases, starting from Iron Man to Infinity War Endgame, because those little things turn into one big thing. That's Infinity War Endgame. Those are epic journey story ride. It's a lot more fun. Of course, shocker on the way as well, and also emotional farewell as well. It's so that's why you miss those epic journey. And another thing I miss is Chadwick Boseman. God rest his soul. I thought he was gonna be the new king leader of the MCU going forward. Now he's not on this earth. It breaks my heart. It saddens me, and we really miss Chadwick Boseman. And another one is Stan Lee cameo appearances. God rest his soul, Stan Lee. Another thing you look forward to MCU films like, or any other Marvel movies, like, hey, Stan Lee cameo appearances. Where are these gonna appear? That's almost like trivia. You win for trivia. It's like, oh, this part when he appears, this or that. It's almost like a traditional way. So Stan Lee cameo appearances, I really miss his appearance in Stan Lee cameos right now, seen from Phase 4. So there you have it. On the next video, I'll share my 10 favorite Stan Lee MCU movie cameos. Stay tuned. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one.